non-judgmental approach. And non-judgmental approach is really important in counseling, psychotherapy, in any type of work with a client, because it's an element of you being a therapist. It is requirement, and it is invitation to successful and effective therapeutic alliance. So non-judgmental counselor recognizes and works really successfully in order to develop client capacity to agency and self-direct themselves by through many tools, but one of those is to make them aware of their judgments, where they're coming from, and how to work with them. So non-judgmentalism consists of neither the resigning from moral responsibility, but it's neither the encouragement of amorality in the client's situation. It is that fine balance. And the process of growing non-judgmental attitude is not easy. It's one of the steps of self-development and, in fact, spiritual growth. But in the counseling journey, we like to see it as an ability to put aside things like stereotypes, tendencies to think that we know better, tendencies to take things personally, labeling, prejudices, things like that. And in Islamic counseling, it goes a little bit deeper, because Islam is a pathway, a very holistic pathway to self-growth, and that includes spirituality. So from Islamic perspective, we also including very important aspects of diseases of the heart, as well as sinning. So sinning would be the behavior that is not beloved to your creator, but also sinning is the behavior that crooks your character. And one of those things which are probably very close to non-judgmentalism is backbiting. And we know from the Prophet ﷺ that it is disadvisable. It's recognized as one of the sins. And how do we know it? We know it from Aisha, who has self-backbited, not knowing that she's backbiting. So backbiting we normally recognize as storytelling about others, or talking about others in derogative way behind their back. But in this hadith we learned that it is actually more detailed, more subtle than that. So she reports that it is that she said to the Prophet, being jealous about Safiya, his second wife, it is enough for you in Safiya that she is very short. And he ﷺ reprimanded her. You have said a word which would change the sea if it is mixed in. She said, I indicated a man before, I only imitated a man before him out of disgrace. And he said, look, ﷺ said, I do not like that. I imitate anyone if I should get such and such, and you just backbited Aisha. Okay, so backbiting is considered for a great sin and a great, I would say, drawback in your character, how you conduct yourself, but also it reflects you, how you're thinking. It reflects you, the state that you're in. And Aisha, she was in the state of jealousy about another wife of the Prophet ﷺ, and that came across not only as rude but also not acceptable for a Muslim. So how to work with being non-judgmental, and I said it's a really long process. It's not easy. The first thing comes first is that you probably need to sit down with yourself and go through certain steps. So first realize that you are judgmental, and then try to figure out in which situations. Then recognize that you are just a human being. And then acknowledge that the views that you're holding, the opinions that you think they are truth to your life, that they represent life, they might be actually a product of your upbringing, and they are not based on your own experiences. Try to evaluate which is borrowed, which is yours from society, from your upbringing, and what is it that you believe in, what are your values and your morals, what are your opinions really. And then forgive yourself if you made mistakes, which we would call in Islam sins, or going back to your diseases of the heart. So take that big contemplation moment or moments that, go into the tafakkur and become aware of your own prejudice, judgment, labeling others. How do you show up in relationships really, and where it's coming from. Those steps, they're not easy to go through. And in psychotherapy, you want to find a therapist who will give you non-judgmental approach, meaning he'll be neutral, non-critical. His attitude will be welcoming, encouraging, and allowing you to express your own feelings, to know yourself. And this is important, what I'm going to say, and make the best decisions based on you being fully informed. So if you are working with Islamic counselor, then the difference is that they are going to work towards you becoming more aligned with something that we call Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. So the idea of non-judgmentalism is not necessarily based on the fact that your counselor or your psychotherapist doesn't see you going wrong. He does or she does, but they have enough tact, enough techniques, enough time with you to help you to get there, and then help you to rectify those through working on your tafakkur, through working on your own rectification of your tarbiyah, which is your character, your adab. I hope that is helpful. Don't forget to sign to my YouTube channel. We have new videos coming up every week. I see you in